Santi, we have never ever had a wrestling expert on the show before, and so you're storming new ground here. We're all novices. You can get us to believe anything.
Oh, you know what, Taylor? Let's just talk about hockey for the next 2 hours. I know that it's a brand new topic for you. Maybe the audiences may be interested in the crazy world of the WWE, but just hockey. That's it. Guys, I'm excited to be on. This is a fun little full circle moment for me. I've been watching PKA for, no word of a lie, like 13 years. 13 years I've been listening to you guys. So I've been through it all. I suffered through Redneck, Lefty. I saw Taylor drunkenly berate Lefty. I was there with Kyle. I was there without Kyle, and now I'm here.
There you go. You know all the history then. That's perfect. Wow. Holy shit, Redneck. I had forgotten about him. Totally forgotten about that. How did his story end with the show? Because I remember coming on as a guest when he was never like a host as much as he was a common recurring guest, right?
Yeah. I think he was a friend of like Wings especially, and it seemed like it was almost one of those open invite kind of things, and he was on all the time. I don't think I ever considered him a host, but he was on so frequently I can see how people would. And what people don't know, because he doesn't vibe this way, is he's really professionally successful outside of YouTube, and he just retired early and he's enjoying his life, and I think he's doing well.
Sick. Shout out to him.
Good for him.
So Santi, like I said, I don't know a lot about professional wrestling, but the story within wrestling I've spent the most time looking into and researching is Chris Benoit.
Oh, yeah. That's the story.
I guess he'd be my favorite wrestler.
Yeah. How familiar are you guys with the Chris Benoit story?
I only know the page one who banged all the other wrestlers. That I know one story.
Yeah.
I know what he did.
Yeah, okay. The Sparks note essentially is there was a WWE pay-per-view on a Sunday night, and he was scheduled to be there to have a match, and he just never showed up. And this was a guy that was a consummate professional there every single day, early, incredibly respected amongst his peers. And then by the morning, news broke out that he was dead, his son, and his wife was dead. That's all we knew at the time. Now, it's Monday, and WWE does their weekly show on Monday, and they had something big special lined up. There was a big follow-up to that pay-per-view. Out comes Vince McMahon to an empty arena to tell everybody that Chris Benoit has passed away. They do a 2-hour tribute, and they send out wrestlers to talk about what an amazing person he is, what a great father, what a great human being. It's important to note, okay, this is kind of ridiculous.
I'm sorry, can I interject more detail? Vince McMahon was at that moment like in a storyline where he was dead.
He got murdered.
His limo blew up, right?
His limo, he stepped into a limo, it exploded, and the storyline was going to be the clue who done it. Because on his way to the limo, there were like 6-7 different wrestlers that gave him a funny look. And the storyline was going to be who blew up Vince McMahon's limo.
Simpsons did it.
Yes. Yeah. So, but then the very real death of Chris Benoit forced them to pivot everything. And they very hastily did that tribute because within like 2 hours, it came out that he had killed his son, his wife, and strangled himself from his Bowflex machine. Like super... like dark, really messed up stuff. If you want to like talk about like silver linings from like that horrible situation, that's the reason why the NFL has such great like concussion protocols, because he was one of the first major athletes that they checked his brain inside and out what happened. And this man had so many concussions. He had the brain of a 75-year-old in his early 40s. And that led to a huge discussion about CTE, WWE putting in a bunch of measures regarding concussions, drug usage, and now it's a much healthier product. Unfortunately, started from such a dark, brutal, real-life thing that happened.
It is funny how many bad, poorly timed things happened in a row, in a way. Like, tragic, he kills his entire family and himself. But then in like a 2-hour window, they do a whole like, oh, you should have known this guy. He was a real champion. And like, and then it comes out and they have to backtrack. Do they pull all that footage? Like, we're not going to air this anymore.
Yeah. So basically after that happened, Vince McMahon once again comes on air and says that they will never mention his name ever again. To their credit, they never have. There is, of course, archival footage of all of his matches, but that's about all that you can find from him. They don't mention him. They do nothing regarding him. It is very much a black sheep story when it comes to WWE nowadays.
Is that the worst thing that's ever happened within WWE?
I would say non-story wise, yeah. Like I don't think it gets as bad as that. There was this story of Owen Hart as well.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, it was another pay-per-view. Over the Edge 1999 was the name of the pay-per-view. And Owen Hart, a very respected wrestler, like somebody that was seen as the cream of the crop, one of the greatest to ever do it. He was basically being put through a humiliation ritual because his brother, a far more famous wrestler, Bret Hart, had defected from the WWE and gone to the competition named WCW. And afterwards, this very respected wrestler was put in like tights and a mask, and he was like this like superhero, like the most degrading thing that you could make somebody that was this respected to be doing in wrestling. And they were going to have a bit where he was going to have a match against a wrestler called the Godfather, who came out with something called the Ho Train, Woody, where he'd come out and there'd be like 50 girls behind him, and those were his hoes, and he was a pimp. That was his character.
Okay.
And the Blue Blazer was supposed to come down from the rafters, and he was supposed to the wire was supposed to stop like 5 feet before it landed, and he was supposed to land all goofily, right? Like, oh, he can't even make his entrance right. Falls from 70 feet from the rafters. Somebody didn't do their job. Somebody messed up. And on live pay-per-view in front of the 15,000 people that were in attendance, this man just falls flat to the ground and just dies.
And how did they handle it after, like in the immediate
humiliation
like,
ritual was a huge success.
Oof.
They went too far.
A little far. This is where like there was a lot of like backlash towards WWE. Vince is like, show must go on. They spent maybe 10 minutes after this man died in front of everybody, and it's like, all right, Nation of Domination, get out there. It's time to fight DX.
Are you serious?
and like these guys they just saw their friend die on TV, and they had to announce it to the people watching at home that like Owen Hart has passed away, and no one wants to go out there and fake fight after their friend just fell from the rafters 70 feet. So
it's what we would have wanted.
Taylor, you tell me which one's worse.
Well, definitely the family murder, because more people died.
I agree.
But that would suck to be like, imagine you're already not in the mood. You're dressed up like a luchador and you're like, it's a job. And then a guy that you like dies in front of you, and you have to go out there and be like, listen here, Larry Lightning, you're not the king of the ring, or whatever happens in wrestling.
I'm the Shockmaster.
I'm the Shockmaster. Yeah, that's a more lighthearted wrestling story that I enjoyed, and low effort. How low effort the Shockmaster was. Like, if I don't know if that was WCW or WWE, but if that were WWE, it seems like an inside man from WCW got his hands on a character and was like, and like kind of dressed him like a Nordic pelt trader, and also a stormtrooper hat, and like you do something like that and like
bedazzle it, not it's a standard stormtrooper head.
No, it can't be intimidating whatsoever, because he was supposed to because remember, initially he was supposed to be like Billy Badass. He wasn't supposed to be a goober.
He was so he was the secret partner for a wrestler named Sting, a legend in Southern wrestling. And Sting is hyping this guy up like, you guys have no chance. My partner is none other than the Shockmaster. Pyro hits. He comes through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man, falls and trips. His helmet rolls off of him as he's frantically looking for his helmet to put it back on. The first second of his debut was the end of his career.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
For some reason I thought he had a fur pelt on. Maybe that fell off in the tumble. But, because this is post tumble after he frantically
the
put his
wall.
helmet back on, and he's doing hand motions trying to because he's not talking. It's some guy on a mic, and so he's trying to catch up to the lines. And so the guy behind there is like, the guy started talking immediately, like, I am the Shockmaster, and I will come for you. And so he's like, it's me, I'm you, and he's trying to catch up with the hands.
Oh my god. He's so fat too. Like why is look, this is not the physique that I want to see in my pro wrestler. I like to see just people who look like superheroes. And look, I don't know what contributed to what's his name murdering his whole family, but steroids are required. All right? Like if you can't handle your steroids, you shouldn't be a wrestler. They need to be enormous. The bigger the better. Mark Henry, Mark Henry's weightlifting stats are absurd. He's literally one of the strongest human beings who's ever existed. That's the kind of wrestler I like.
Sexual
That's fair.
chocolate.
Like they say that steroids are a banned substance in the WWE, but I think anybody that has a semblance of understanding of fitness knows that these bodies just aren't possible. Nowadays,
40s,
Kyle,
50s, and 60s too.
it's a lot less prevalent. There are a lot of wrestlers that you look at and like, you could achieve that with some P90X and a good 5-day routine at the gym or something like that. You definitely could, but like,
Really?
Yeah. You can, if you want to look up somebody like, maybe you pull up a picture of a wrestler named Adam Cole. That is a very popular wrestler. That is a guy that you might just find at your regular local gym. But then you see somebody like a John Cena who's 47 and is just jacked to the fucking gills. I don't think that that's chicken and a daily dose of your vitamins and saying your prayers.
Cena looks really good. Like he's got a lot of almost naked scenes in what was that?
Trainwreck.
Peacekeeper or Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Yeah.
And Peacemaker, he's there in his like little boy briefs, and he is just. It looks like he's carved out of marble. Like if you were carving him out of marble, you wouldn't be like, let's make this a little bigger, or that a little more defined. You'd be like, no, that's perfect. He nailed it. He looks incredible.
What about that doesn't scream natural to you?
The veins, the enormity, the mass, his age.
That should be true, maybe.
Yeah, he's pushing 50 at this point. He's a lot older than people think. He's been around now for a really, really long time. I had a friend, he's passed away since. He had a muscular dystrophy. And I met him back in like 2004, and he was one of the few people that I could talk wrestling with. And in 2006, this bitch, he got a Make-A-Wish, and I was like, dude, you gotta, John Cena, we have to meet John Cena. I mean, you gotta meet John Cena, but I'm coming. We have to meet John Cena. But he ended up going with a PS3 and a bunch of games because it just came out, and we could have met John Cena.
That sucks.
How
long do you have to like if you do a Make-A-Wish?
He didn't even think about you for his Make-A-Wish.
do you have a limit? Like if he made a wish and then maybe a period of recovery and then gets really sick again 4 or 5 years later, do you get to double dip? Or are they like, no, you cannot make a wish?
I don't think so. He only got
One
if he
wish.
got a second wish and he didn't get John Cena, then I'd be really mad at him.
Was he terminal? How did he do?
So he passed away like deep into his 20s. He lasted a long time with muscular dystrophy, and it just kept getting more degenerative. He had a twin brother, and they both got it. It's just that, it's the worst hand I've ever seen like a mom be dealt, because then she was also a single mom as well. It was.
And then there's Chris Benoit's wife.
There's Chris. There's a lot of tragedy in the wrestling.
Yeah, that's a rough mom situation as well.
Yeah, she had it. She had it worse.
Yeah, even more difficult
Is
than
John
Benoit.
Cena still a bad guy?
So John Cena was the good guy for years. He was the Superman, the ultimate good guy. In fact, I think he announced the death in the execution of Osama bin Laden live on TV. I think it was like in 2011 after a show. He comes out on a microphone. He's just like, I just wanted to let you all know that we have found and ended to a permanent end Osama bin Laden. I think kids thought that he killed Osama bin Laden. He made it sound that way. He totally made it sound that way.
Wow,
you think Sting was with him?
Yeah, he's now in 2025. He's in his retirement tour in the WWE. I think he's ready to go fully into Hollywood.
Nobody ever fully retires. They come back for that juice every time they need it.
I agree, but then John Cena is like actually like mega rich. Most of these guys come back because they blow through their money and are terrible with finances, like Ric Flair, who has had 17 different retirement matches. John Cena has Hollywood. So when he says retirement tour, I actually believe John Cena, but you're right, Kyle. That is actually like a trope in wrestling where one last match. Yeah, okay, fuck you. We'll see you in 5 years, bud.
Trout, how are you?
Doing good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. I've watched a few of your videos. The one that sucked me in and I liked the most, mainly because it just confirmed something I've believed for a long time with no evidence, no due diligence, is that recycling is a scam.
Oh, 100%.
So I was listening to that and I'm like, yes, this guy fucking gets it, because that shit is a scam.
Oh, that's why I burn 100% of my garbage. I don't want it buried in the earth.
Dude, I was like,
dumpster.
I was one of those fools. Like, I was one of those silly billies the first few years I lived here, where like I was actually somewhat conscious of like, oh, this plastic soda bottle should go in the recycling. There were even times where I had like a greasy pizza box and I was like, oh, I guess I got to smash this into a tiny little thing to fit it in the garbage instead of this like perfectly free and open recycling, because I've heard online that's not good. And then our garbage company changed like 2 years ago, and I shit you not, I will go out there sometimes when I hear the truck and I'll watch, and the same truck picks up my garbage and then picks up my recycling and dumps them into the same truck. And so this past weekend, I got like bold with it. I filled my entire recycling with yard waste. I'm not spending money on those paper bags when it's all going in there anyway.
They got those magic trucks that sort them on the inside. That was like the first thing that kicked me off, because I used to give a shit too. And then I watched the truck dump it. It like same garbage truck, trash truck, picked it up. And I started like looking into it. And I found out like 90% of our recycling just ends up in our landfills anyway. And we were exporting like most of our recycled goods to third world countries, and they don't give a shit. Like they just burn it. China, India, Malaysia, like that's where all of that ocean waste comes from.
I'm Captain Pollution. I don't even care. They took my garbage today, and I watched them do the same thing Taylor described, except in my recycling was an old car battery. Nobody said
you got to throw it in the ocean to keep the electric eels charged.
Yeah,
I mean,
put those in rivers.
Out.
Dude, I had
it goes right in the landfill.
A neighbor at my old house. This is like 5-ish years ago, and he was slow. I don't know if you could put a medical term to it other than retarded, but
waterheaded,
like moron, Mongolian. Just a little slow. He was like probably 40-ish. And I swear to God, because I was a contractor back then. I do internet shit full time now, but back then I was a contractor. And so I'd take customers like waste from the jobs I was doing home, and I'd throw it in the bins. And I swear to God, every time I would be throwing something I shouldn't have been into like the wheelie bin, dumpster, whatever you want to call it, he would roll up on his fucking bike, ring his bell twice, skirt the brakes in my gravel driveway, and be like, "You aren't supposed to put that in there." Josh, it's okay to put giant chunks of broken concrete in the garbage. It's all going the same place.
But he didn't pick up on that. He wouldn't be correct.
A lot of garbage men are they're kind of hip to my tricks. I tried to sneak an old propane tank out in the garbage one time. It was just wrapped in a trash bag, and they were like, "The fuck is this?" I'm like, it's empty. He goes, "No, it's not."
You're gonna compress it.
I'm like, it's just the heat of the day, adding a little pressure's all, no big deal.
What if the freaking crusher in the truck blew it up, Kyle?
It's going to blow it up, Woody.
Problem solved.
Not my chair,
somebody.
not my problem.
No, I did that with paint cans.
It wouldn't blow it up. It would just decompress it a little. You need to get it going.
It's not an explosion. It's just an extremely rapid decompression in a contained area.
Exactly.
Not a big deal.
Dude,
And the
that's
car
like
battery
if,
thing's not a joke. Yeah, that too.
It's like if Kaczynski had no ambition. Just throwing propane tanks in people's garbage. Yeah, that is bold. It's like a translucent bag. You can see the blue rhino. They're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
It was a black trash bag.
You get your deposit back. You drop it off at the hardware store, and they give you like $40.
Same with the battery.
But I ain't got time for all that.
You're missing out throwing away the
ahead of me.
propane tank. That's never even. You're a new level of polluter. That's never crossed my mind. I'm a total normie. I'm like,
There's
yeah,
no
I'm gonna go
pollution
get
there.
my
It's aluminum
$23.
or steel. It's steel, probably. It's just a chunk of steel. It's empty. It was empty mostly.
Mostly.
Kyle's a parallel to that guy who like throws rocks off the bridge. It might hit
What?
someone, might not. You know,
All right,
someone
come
could
on.
get
That's
hurt.
manslaughter you're talking about. I'm
I
more
am
like a
talking
Captain Planet
about-
villain.
I don't know what's below manslaughter. Right? Maybe it is manslaughter.
Reckless
I don't know.
homicide?
Yeah.
What if the trash
Oopsie
truck?
daisy.
Like, what people got hurt?
It wasn't literally a full propane tank. I used the propane for cooking and such.
full.
It was literally the heat of the day. Add a little pressure to the fucking tank. It was gonna be fine. It was
Just disconnect it from your grill and open the spout, man. Let it into again the world's
Anyway,
trash
he wouldn't
can.
take
Again, it was the heat of the day. The heat of the day sometimes makes it go.
He's like, I'm getting lightheaded. the mover wouldn't transport my peanut oil. He said that was a fire hazard. I got like 4-gallon, 5-gallon jug of peanut oil for frying turkeys, and he was like, "Oh no, the oil is hazardous." And I'm like, "You serious, man? Come on." And he's like, "I got you." And then 10 minutes later, he came back. He's like, "I don't have you. They shut me down." Like you gotta.
You just
put
see him
your trunk.
squatting over a storm drain, just dumping it all.
It's good oil. I don't remember what it costs, but it's not free. So I keep my turkey oil.
When we
Yeah.
moved to North Carolina, we had some sort of lube for sex that they wouldn't like do. I guess, is it a petroleum product or something? That's what they
Some of them
claimed.
are.
But so they like packed the house and they took the sex lube and like prominently displayed it on a shelf, so we knew that it wasn't packed. But it was like a little discretion would be cool here.
How much
Like,
did
there's a
you
lot of
have?
people coming and going. That's how it went down.
Do you remember what brand? Because I buy Wet Platinum in the 1-gallon jug, and it
Mhm.
has a pump on the side like lava, like Gojo or whatever that mechanics liquid soap, and that's definitely a fire hazard. It's a gallon of lube.
I think it was Astroglide, but I think they make a lot of different kinds of lube. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's water based. That's the ones like KY, the traditional KY jelly that gets kind of tacky after a while. Not a fan of that. And then there's the
Better.
silicone based. That's that Wet Platinum-esque, slippery forever. If you spill it on your hardwood floors, it's time for Home Alone style stuff. That's definitely flammable.
I've almost cracked my head open, like showering after
Ooh, yeah.
using that before, because it just goes straight onto your shower floor, and then it's the slickest thing known to man.
The water stuff is slicker. The silicone stuff lasts longer. It's good for like 3,000 miles. But the water stuff, when it's
A lot
in
of
its
cock.
prime, is as slick as it's going. So, it depends. You have your choice. You can either give up some of the lube and go silicone based, or you can reapply. So I would
Yeah, I don't like the
say-
reapplication, and I also don't
Lube
like
jelly.
I don't like everything being all tacky and sticky after. At least with the silicone based lube, it's kind of like oil. Like you can kind of like rub it into your skin and be like, that's part of the patina now.
You're gonna be a tacky, sticky mess when it's over, no matter what, Kyle.
You like to season your
I don't
your
play
dick
with you
like a
anymore.
cast iron pan.
I think he had 3 gallons of peanut oil.
I have used, like back in the day, I used coconut oil. That was my go-to before I discovered Wet Platinum. I would have like a little jar of coconut oil in the bedroom, and at room temperature, it's solid. So you gotta like reach in there with 3 fingers and claw out like a little
Yeah.
clump of it and get it melty.
And you're like, yeah, baby, just give me 45 more seconds.
Yeah.
No, it is cold in here. I do keep it cold in here.
I went through a coconut oil phase too, and honestly, it was the application that I didn't like. I prefer a pump top.
Yeah, it's a little gritty and like mealy at first until it melts in. I do like the smell though. Wet Platinum smells like nothing. Most lubes smell like nothing. I don't want a flavored lube either. But coconut oil is just, it's naturally coconutty. That was kind of nice.
Mhm.
Same reason I use bacon grease.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
the yeast
haram.
infections are terrible.
Yeah, babe, I don't know why. I don't know why you constantly have UTIs. It's probably because you're gross.
Yeah, I'm like, honey, I don't want the dog to join in.
All right,
Like-
fine.
It smells
We'll
like
switch
breakfast.
to beef tallow. Ghee.
That would be so funny. RFK's like, this is the only thing I'll use to fuck you with. It's beef tallow." He's just constantly giving out UTIs to his harem of, what was he cheating with like 1 million women at one point? And he's like, I don't want to get caught, so I'm going to keep a novel of this on my coffee table near my wife's side of the couch. and that she's going to read it and
Like,
off
surely
herself.
she knew the whole time, but when she wanted to divorce him, she just used that as evidence.
Probably.
Is this the woman who's the wife in Curb Your Enthusiasm, or is this
No,
like
she's
you?
still with him. That's Cheryl Hines. She's still his wife. You see her at events and stuff. It's a little awkward because clearly she's plugged into like Hollywood liberal like people, and those are her friends and coworkers. And then there she is on RFK's arm at a Trump event, at a UFC fight. That's great. I watched the Trump show every week. It's my favorite show. He was on the roof this week. That was a cool episode. Some people say he jumped the shark. I disagree. I hope he goes back up there more and gesticulates and maybe
What do you
gives some
think
orders.
he was doing? I have my own.
Remember
theory.
when Saddam shot the rifle out on the balcony? I'd like a moment like that. What was
That's a
he
good
doing
look.
up there? I think he was. I think they're. I have heard that he is a terrible businessman, terrible money man, but he's a great contractor from people that hate him. And I imagine he's up there enjoying actually knowing what he's talking about for once and being like, yeah, oh yeah, little cornerstone there. What kind of tile was that? Yep, he's a good tile guy. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna want to put this over there. I think he was doing that. I think they're doing the ballroom edition.
Yeah.
It's 200 mil. They just paved over the rose garden, made that look very Spartan. And I don't know, he's probably up there putting up a satellite dish or something.
I think he was visualizing what the enlarged East Wing would be like if it were a ballroom.
Perhaps, yeah.
That's my guess.
That had me curious, like the expansion on the White House. Where do we rank, like the U.S. in the world of like leaders' palaces and ruler? Because I know we get blown out by like Buckingham Palace. That Russian one seems huge.
Yeah, there's one in Argentina. It's like the Pink House or something. It's pretty sick if I'm remembering right.
Really,
Pink-
Zach?
Yeah.
Can we see the pink house?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends if you're talking about like size, square footage, opulence, or maybe like security and technology integration. I bet the
Definitely
White
just-
House is. I bet the White House is one of the best in the world as far as security and technology integration.
Yeah.
They dug that bunker I was talking about months ago, where you could see when during the Obama administration they had the big tent over the dig they were doing to add to the underground tunnel network. This is pretty nice. I mean,
It looks like a tourist destination.
It looks
Yeah.
like a Disney World hotel.
Yeah.
It does. If there was like a giant Ripley's Believe It or Not tilted sign on there, I'd believe it. Like,
What does
look
the
at
pink
that.
flamingo look like, Zach? The Disney World hotel. I want to see that and compare them.
Yeah, that I bet
Pretty sure there's one.
the inside of that might be more opulent than the White House, but there's no way they have like the tech and security.
yeah,
But regardless, we should minimum demand that we are top 3 in opulence and size.
I'm wrong.
really?
Yeah, dude.
Why? Why would
'Cause
we
it's
want
cool.
his? For who? For him? You want Trump to have a nicer digs?
No, not for Trump. For the country.
For the
So we
next
have a stick
president.
looking- For the
Well,
next.
it's not exact. It's not like the old days where they just stuck a big wheel of cheese in the foyer and invited everybody to come and partake. You know, you can't just. I think they canceled the White House tours a while back.
Really?
Remember when that crazy guy just jumped the fence and walked in?
Yeah, I wonder if they're still canceling the
Hunter
White
Biden.
House tours. But I don't,
They're looking for the source of that cocaine baggie. They still haven't gotten to the bottom.
Still
of it.
haven't found it. Did you see the interview with him? He's actually
Who?
Hunter
Hunter?
Biden. Yeah.
I saw a couple clips of it. Yeah.
Yeah, now that he's like sober, allegedly, he's like very coherent. He sounds almost identical to Biden if he could form a sentence. It's
and the
like, it's
mannerisms,
crazy.
like
Yeah.
I never realized how much they look alike and speak alike until that interview.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was watching
This-
an
well,
old clip of Biden, and I was like,
Prime
that-
Biden.
That's
Not-
when I
not
realized how
current
much they
Biden.
looked alike. Was I knew pictures of Hunter that were younger than he actually was, and then I think they were making fun of Biden, and they were showing him lying about his college transcripts when he was running for president in like the '80s or something, and I'm like, oh, that's what Hunter looks like now. They look very similar, very similar.
You can almost envision what his dick would look like or what he looks like if he's smoking crack.
Yeah,
Probably.
I have
Takes
a mental image of that.
imagination.
Yeah.
I have a mental image of that. Who was it that held up the picture of his dick on the
Marjorie
floor?
Taylor
of the,
Greene.
Yeah.
wow, she's a class act.
She says she's leaving the Republican Party. We'll see.
What's she gonna join?
I don't think she said.
The Confederacy?
She said the Republican Party is too anti-woman for her, and that maybe she'll join Musk's party. I don't know.
The party of
gonna have no party.
H-1B visa holders and
The party of imagination that does barely exist.
Yeah.
I don't
Musk
know.
will pretend to have a party until he is politically appeased by the left or the right, and then his party will vanish.
that I'm very impressed. You're 26 and you already have seemingly more drug experience than all of us aggregated.
Definitely. 'Cause
Times 10.
have you ever so I hear people talk about robo tripping, where they're drinking so much Robitussin that they're seeing, what do they call him, the Hat Man or some shit?
That's
Static
Benadryl.
Man?
That's Benadryl.
Benadryl. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Have you ever done that? Have you ever taken so much cough medicine that you saw
Fuck no.
Hat Man?
Fuck no. So that only it's a strange phenomenon with that one. That only like specifically only happens with Benadryl, which I think DPH is the chemical that does that in that one. All the other cold meds I've taken, like Delsim, Triple C's were the big one when I was younger. I think those are still pretty popular. RoboCough is like a newer one that people do. But Benadryl specifically makes you see spiders and the Hat Man and like shadow people, which is like, I have friends who, like, when I was younger, they'd be like, dude, come over, we're gonna smoke a bunch of weed and take some Benadryl and get drunk. And it's like, dude, like, I don't want to get scared. Like, I would never go into a drug and like go into it like, dude, I'm really excited to fucking get scared and start cold sweating. Like, that's so thrilling, you know? So I always avoided Benadryl because like every person I've spoken to that's taken it is like, yo, that was the scariest experience of my life.
Yeah.
That shit was horrible.
I spent
don't
time
wanna
on
see
the
scary
diphenhydramine subreddit for a while, and so many of the top posts would be like, why am I addicted to this? It's not even fun. It's
torture,
Just
dude.
them like bemoaning the fact
Yeah.
that they're addicted to apparently the least fun drug, because it's a dissociative. And so you don't feel like yourself. You have no sense of presence, no sense of reality. You don't know who you are, what you're observing.
Yeah.
Which sounds horrid.
Yeah, I mean, it's like DXM, like all the robo tripping and like, you know, taking Triple C's or drinking Delsim or whatever is fun. Cause like for me, the reason I did it when I was younger is it's a cheaper psychedelic. You know, I couldn't afford shrooms as much as I wanted them. Same with acid, but I can walk to the Walgreens on the corner by my house and load my pockets up with cold meds. And because I'm under 18, they'll just yell at me. Like I won't even get arrested, you know? So that's what I did all the time. I'm pretty sure I can't go back to that Walgreens, but
You
know, I don't plan to. You know? But that was the main appeal for me. Once I got older, I stopped doing that shit. I call it a poverty drug. You know, like if you're experiencing poverty, DXM's for you. If not, go buy a real drug. You know.
So do you know about these like 7-hydroxymitigamine?
Oh, do I?
7-0.
Do I know about 7-0?
Oh my God. Explain that to us, please.
Seems terrible for you.
Have any of you guys tried it?
I'm afraid of it. They
No.
have it at
You
my vape
shouldn't. You
store.
shouldn't try it. So
Seems sketchy.
I've posted a lot of videos talking about 7-0. I recently, the style of my content has like kind of changed. So just like Call of Duty, like the videos Woody used to make. I would literally do a COD gameplay and like instead of, you know, talking about my kill streak or whatever, I'd be like, yo guys, so me and my boys cooked crack the other day and like we were in my kitchen.
That's a better commentary.
And that's what I did. I originally did like normal Call of Duty like tips and tricks videos, and I was getting no views. I ran out of ideas, and I was like, I just started smoking, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna just talk about first time I got stoned, you know. And that's how I started making all the drug related content. But now I kind of do like different harm reduction stuff where I try to warn people about like what to look for when they're doing certain shit, or like all the smoke shop drugs that are out now. And like I've eaten those smoke shop shroom gummies, dude. The truth about those is those generally aren't that harmful to your health. You know, they have something called 4-ACO DMT in them, which when you eat metabolizes to the same chemical a psilocybin mushroom does. So while it's not an all natural product, you're getting a pretty true to form trip, right? Not 100%, but like a pretty spot on experience, right? Same thing with like these, you know, weed products, these Delta 8 products. Yeah, some of them are sketchy, but like at the end of the day, you're not going to kill yourself on those. You're not going to develop some aggressive lifelong addiction. 7-0 is like you can literally walk into a smoke shop and buy a 80 milligram oxy is effectively what 7-0 is.
Yeah.
It is an extremely addictive opioid. And it's, I think one of the most disingenuous things about it is these companies market it as like a natural kratom concentrate product. These companies are like, oh, it's just kratom. We're in the kratom industry. And like people that are, you know, vocal about supporting a ban on 7.0 or regulation on it, the vendors on the opposite side of that will then try to muddy the water and be like, well, you'd have to ban kratom entirely because, you know, this is literally a natural kratom product. And 7.0 is a chemical that's found in like very trace amounts in natural leaf kratom. And what they do is like they're not grinding up 1 million grams of leaf every day to make this shit, dude. They're synthesizing it. You know, they're all synthesizing it.
That's scary.
It's very scary because one of the biggest issues with this is there's like wild inconsistencies in the doses. There's news publications that have gone and gotten these pills tested from all these different brands, and like they advertise on the box each pill will have 30 milligrams, right? One's got 60, one's got 15, and like people, you can overdose on this stuff. It takes a lot. It's not quite the same as overdosing on like Fent or overdosing on like a maybe an Oxy or a Percocet. It does take more, you know, dosage wise generally, but when you don't know the exact dose of what you're taking, like it's a lot easier to do that, you know.
Is this at every head shop? 7.0
for sure, dude. All of them, bro. Even some of my like favorite shops I've been going to out here in California that previously were like only selling glass, like really into selling like fine like collectible bongs and shit that are thousands of dollars, are now selling this shit behind the counter. And what's really crazy about it, dude, so I'm gonna show you guys a picture real quick. Can I like link this in chat or something, or how would I do that?
Yeah, throw it in
Just
chat.
drop a link in chat and Zach will show it.
Zach will
Okay.
show it.
Let me show you guys some of the fucking brands that like are in this industry.
When I asked the guy at the smoke shop about it, who's like a bro, like he's usually like, yeah, this THCP is this much stronger than THCA, and it'll get you this kind of high. And he's like, I smoke like he loves to get stoned. But when I asked him about that stuff, he's like, yeah, that's a yeah. You
look at that packaging, bro. Like, tell me what that's trying to look like. That's not like trying to, you know, a lot of these companies, they advertise these products as like, dude, this is a harm reduction recovery thing for opiate addicts. People who are trying to quit heroin or Fent are gonna buy this and it's safer. Bro, they're calling them Roxy's, dude.
Oh my!
They're calling them Roxy's.
Wait, what is a Roxy? Oh, because of Oxy.
That's an opiate. It's a real Oxy. It's a legitimate. They're naming these. They have this brand I just linked.
Hey,
they're literally called Perks.
On the first one, you're like, hey, tell me what that looks like. And I think I just don't know what I'm talking about. Like,
looks like a Percocet.
Oh, okay.
It very much looks like a Percocet. And there's actually the brand I just linked, they named their product Perks. Like it literally just says in giant text on the front, Perks, which is one of the most popular opiate drugs you can buy on the market. Same link as the second one. My bad. I put the wrong link. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah, it's super sketchy. Whenever I've asked like a vape guy about it, they're always like, yeah, I don't do that. I haven't tried that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking storm that beach. They look sketchy as hell. And
Dude.
I don't want that. Like I like opiates. Like whenever I've had codeine or just like opiates for surgery, I like them. So I definitely don't need a vape cartridge.
Zach, can you pull that back up? My issue with it is that it doesn't look sketchy. Like they look like pills, but the packaging looks like a breath mint to me.
It's a blue raz flavor. Isn't that sketchy, dude?
Like if this is dangerous, it doesn't look dangerous. It should have a big warning on it. It should tell you it's addictive. It should like
it's unregulated though. So they can do whatever they want. They can make it into like anything they want. It says 21 and over, but I think that's a suggestion.
Caution extremely potent is a sales point. Like it might as well say caution really good.
Yeah.
100%. You know, I've made the series of videos talking about 7.0 in particular. I've basically all the products in the smoke shop I've tried on camera for videos, like some of the sketchiest shit. You can order carts on TikTok shop with no age verification. I bought a bunch of those and smoked them. But this is by far the worst thing I've ever tried. It's horrible, dude.
What's the highlight?
Can you
pronounce what?
I'm sorry. You got hit with two questions at once. You're calling it 7.0. It says 7-hydroxymitragynine. Do you know what that says?
7-hydroxymitragynine, I think is the like way to say that. The 7-hydroxy is like the off spin of the chemical mitragynine, which is a natural, like that's what gets you high in leaf kratom. That's what's normally found in there. The 7-hydroxy I think a good way to compare it, like chemically, is a lot of these like Delta 8 edibles that you find maybe at a gas station or something. Delta 8 is naturally found in the cannabis plant. It is in trace amounts, but like these guys aren't extracting thousands of grams of flower to get it, dude. They're synthesizing it the same way they're doing with the 7-0 stuff. And it creates a very
Oh no.
We may have
Hopefully
lost Goblin.
Very temporary. He was on a roll.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, there we
you
go.
go.
We
We
have
got
you
you
back.
back.
I don't know what happened. My whole page just refreshed. I don't know what happened
Well,
there.
We got
it's good
you
now.
But did it like cut me off a few seconds in?
Yeah, like 6 seconds ago.
Okay. But either way, the issue with like products like 7-0 and like Delta 8, you know, the sketchy synthesized Delta 8 edibles that are, you know, parading as natural is they're hiding behind the actual natural products that like aren't bad for the market and they're poisoning the whole market. They're making everything look bad, you know? So like I have a lot of friends who quit opiates by taking leaf kratom. And while leaf kratom isn't a perfect solution, it is by definition harm reduction. You know, you don't really overdose on leaf kratom without taking extreme amounts of it. I'm talking like a lot, like an amount that I can't hold in my hands at one time, right? An insane amount of leaf kratom. You know, people are quitting opiates using those products, but these products are going to potentially get leaf kratom banned as well, which then leaves recovering opiate addicts with basically Suboxone and methadone, which are way worse options in my opinion. And it's you know, it's a very screwed up market. But either way, the other part I was talking about with the what was your question again, Kyle?
Oh, fuck.
That
I don't
refresh
remember
fucked
now.
us all up, dude.
Yeah, I don't remember the question anymore.
But yeah, this
Was
is
it?
the worst thing in the smoke shop right now, for sure.
Huh.
Yeah, it's got to be. I would be
And those
very
mushrooms
scared
work?
to get into that stuff.
I'm not going to speak widely for every product on the market because I think in general, if you're walking to a smoke shop and buying something that you want to get you high, you're playing a losing game. Like the majority of the time, you're going to get something that is at best kind of sketchy and at worst not at all what you thought you're paid for. And with the shroom products, you know, at the worst, you're eating 4-ACO-DMT, which is a research chemical that is currently like kind of a gray area thing. You know, like it's not illegal. Whether or not it should be is up for debate. But like looking at what other things the government has scheduled, it probably should be up there. And it produces pretty much the same thing as a natural shroom chip. Like it's really not far off. You know, so when I went into trying those smoke shop shroom products, I went in with a pretty like negative mindset preemptively. I was like, dude, these are going to be fucked. And I tried a couple that were like definitely not even 4-ACO-DMT. Like they were some other like sketchy shit, you know, but the ones that specifically, if you want to find one that is this chemical I'm talking about, it's not the ones that say they're lion's mane and reishi on the back, that combination, those like mental clarity shrooms. It's specifically the ones that are like trying to look like shrooms. I tried to brand it a video, which I won't name here because, you know, they don't need the free promotion, but I tried to brand it one of my videos. And I tried it right before a flight. I was in North Carolina. I had filmed a podcast and I was
What a
going to this
good
barbecue
idea.
place. Yeah, I know. Brilliant, right?
Why
And I'm
do
going
it
to this-
then?
I mean,
It's such a
I was on a
potential
tight
for a
schedule
scary
that
time.
week, dude. The video was like,
Fair enough. You're a consummate professional. No one can. take that away.
I have to lock in, you know, maintain my schedule. I mean, you guys run a pod here, you guys know how it goes,
You know
but
how it is.
you know, I was originally planning to upload the video a few days prior and just didn't get the chance to get it out. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna bring this bag with me and just record it in North Carolina after I film with this other guy. And you know, I do the podcast with him. Next day, getting ready for my flight. I'm like, shit, I still haven't taken those gummies yet. I take a couple of them. I'm thinking like, dude, these aren't going to hit me at all. Dude, these are some smoke shop ass gummies. That bag I actually bought off Amazon, which makes it even crazier.
Wow.
Because you can just buy them on Amazon. And I took a couple and I go to this restaurant, this barbecue place for lunch with my, my buddy. And I'm standing in line and I'm looking out the window and I just kind of realize after a couple seconds, I'm like, yo, I'm fucking tripping right now. like, and this is a very familiar feeling. Like, this wasn't like, dude, what drug am I on? It felt like I took a small dose of shrooms. And that like stunned me. You know, I was sitting there like, I can't believe that shit is legal. Like, I'm happy it is. I think psilocybin mushrooms should be legal to begin with, but like, God, that shocked me.
That's great. You were cleaning drains when you were listening to a lot of these fight companions. Was that your job prior to doing this?
That was my weekend job. I used to work a lot. Like as soon as I got out of school, I just used to work. So I used to do a regular job. I would do like changing of posters for like this supermarket mall and hand out flyers in the street and stuff like that. It's basically just getting rejected for a living. Was like early doors, just looking for old women that I could sort of shift off 3 leaflets to before I sort of got back to like the next stack of things, changing posters. And then on the weekend, I would basically, there was this building yard parking space and they had to keep it clean for regulations. And there was always weeds growing and things falling down there, rubble, cigarettes everywhere. And they got paid an amount by the council or something to keep it clean for safety. And they just sort of gave me that money or like a percentage of it to do that on the Saturday. So on the Saturdays, that's what I would be doing. And then I think the fights were in Singapore. So they were actually in the daytime, my time, because this is all happening. Like the fight cards happen 11 a.m. till 7 a.m. my time in the UK. So
what year is this roughly?
Yeah. Around
what year is it roughly you're talking about?
Oh, what year is it roughly? Probably about 2017, 16, probably around that time, I would guess. Yeah, I left school at 2016, I think. I left school at 17, 2015. Yeah, probably around that time. So I've been doing this since late 2018. That's when I actually started my channel and started doing the content. So
how would you solve eye pokes?
I just take a point off everyone who even goes for them, and then they would stop doing it.
Or goggles.
Or goggles. That could also work. But
imagine getting punched in the goggles.
That would hurt so bad.
Yeah, that would hurt worse.
Your eyeball out.
Yep. Or just glass shards of glass
in the goggle. I want a point. I want a quarter of the purse.
Well, I don't know. There's some legalities to that, I think, and that could really be interesting. If a guy is, if a UFC doesn't like a fighter, yeah, well, that's not really an excuse for morality. Here is like, look,
they do it for missed weight.
No, yeah, they do, but that's preemptively discussed before the fight. That's in their contract. I know what you mean by taking away the money, but it's such a gray area. Is like, what is them jousting their fingers in an eye, and what's framing on the face? Oh, there is like putting your fingers out there is like a move.
Bro, your fingers are your responsibility. I never hear in football whether that was an intentional or accidental offsides.
Yep.
The quarterback, this is American football I'm talking about. The quarterback baits you with like yelling, hut, hut, hut. You don't know which hut he means. His team knows third hut you go. Your team is being fooled. So they'll be like, hut, 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 right? They're trying to trick you. And they never say, that's not offsides. He only accidentally jumped offsides. No. Fucking put your fingers in a fist or deal with the consequences, a point and a quarter of your purse. If you're putting your fingers out there, extending them in people. Jones is in an interview saying he trained eye pokes. Fuck that scumbag, one of the scummiest persons ever to walk the earth. But he can't be alone. He's just the only guy who says it in his interviews. Gagne is I'm watching like montages, compilations of him doing different fouls, kicking in the balls, poking in the eyes, back of the head. It goes on and on. But the eye pokes in particular are devastating. They can be career and life altering. And I don't want to hear it's accidental anymore. The accidents will stop when the penalties start rolling in.
How about this? He eye pokes, the opponent gets one free eye poke, and then the fight resumes.
Oh yeah, he has to put his hands in his pockets and wait.
You just have to.
Dana would love that.
I don't know anything
about.
I don't know anything about MMA.
Power poke right there.
Power poke is the biggest sport in the world right now.
Yeah. It's beating the NFL on numbers.
Taking over Instagram. 10 billion impressions on India alone.
Kyle, it's bigger than you can ever imagine. It's not a gay, boring, retarded, nonsensical.
When he lies to me about power, he's like Trump. When he lies to me about power slap, then I question everything he ever says thereafter. It's like, I know that one's a lie, and you're saying it so full-throatedly that nothing you ever say.
That's how I use Trump voice. That's how I talk to girls at restaurants now. I'm like, I've been to every single sushi restaurant in the city, and this is the best one. It's the best one. You know, the chefs here, I know them. They're probably not here now. We can't confirm it. But like, if you use Trump voice and you're super confident, there's a reason that shit works. Like, can you imagine him but pre-internet, walking into a room for like a real estate deal in like 1984? And they're like, we'll give it to you for this. And he's like, that's gay and retarded. We're not doing that. Everyone's talking about what a terrible building this is. I just walked in. Someone said, are you buying this? I said, I hope not.
Dude, days before the internet must have been so I'd be lying my ass off before the internet. Before like being able to fact check everything you ever said, I'd be getting up to all sorts with all these stories.
I would have been making up so many sports stats.
100%. But yeah, to the eye poke point, no, I agree with you. It's just that sometimes Jim Miller said this. He's a OG veteran fighter. He's never eye poked anyone. He's got the most fights in UFC history. He's never eye poked anyone. And then there's fighters that eye poke someone every fucking fight. So it's just a thing where some fighters never do it. Other fighters always do it. So it must be a conscious decision to get them with the pokes.
Even if they're not trying necessarily to poke them, they're creating like a defensive, like porcupine defense, basically. It's like, yeah, don't try to hit me or anything or I'll blind you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like maybe they don't come right at him and like go like that, but like John Jones that keeps his distance like that. He's always probing with this. And it's like, I wish they'd be like, and I hear him like, fingers up, John. He's like, yeah, for now.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw and you know, Lee's knowledgeable here about this, but I saw a picture on the internet of the gloves that the Japanese fighters use versus the gloves that American fighters use. And I guess the Japanese gloves prevent eye poking because they come out much further on the finger and the pad extends beyond the tip of the finger. So you can't stab. Whereas the American ones, or I guess the rest of the world ones, cut off like here. And so you can still get pretty nasty with it.
The Japanese gloves, these are the old Pride gloves. If you relaxed your hand, they would sit in a kind of a curve. So you had half a fist. And the American ones, if you relax your hand, it's a little straighter. But I don't buy it. You can make a fist in both gloves. They're just not. Do you even have a rule against eye pokes if there's no penalty for it?
Mm-hmm.
You just get sometimes 4 warnings in a fight.
Well,
like it's outrageous.
That guy didn't get in trouble at all. The guy who snapped through Aspinall's eye.
You get 1 free everything. So basically, UFC fighters. This is real.
At least 1 free.
Yeah, at least 1 free. But then once you do 2, it's a gray area. Like, are they maybe going to take a point? Which is a crazy thing. But basically, UFC fighters should be aware of this. You get a couple back of the head shots, you get a groin shot, and you get an eye poke. Use them fucking wisely. Derek Lewis said, one time Derek Lewis said, yeah, man, sometimes when I get tired, I just go poke them and get a breather. You know?
He's too charismatic.
Yeah. It's true. You get a poke.
I found that if they can't see, they can't hit me no more.
Yeah, that's great. I saw that clip of that guy going knuckle deep in Aspinall's skull, and I'm like, this must have been a disqualification. And then Kyle texted like, no, just it was called a no contest. And it's like, oh, really? So is there a clip of Aspinall knuckle deep in the other guy's eye, like almost a tit for tat? No, we just.
There was a second eye poke too.
Yeah, there were 2 eye pokes.
They just did nothing about the first eye poke.
That's crazy.
And by the way, it was the first round. Just so we're clear, it was the first fucking round. We didn't make it out of the first. Okay, hey, we've been here 5 minutes. You've poked me in the eye twice. Like, I hate
that's got to speak to how afraid he was of Aspinall as a fighter, right? Like he wasn't willing to stand and throw because he was afraid, or whatever their styles are.
This is where I'm going to probably differ with others because as much as I love Aspinall, he was losing that round. He was losing that round. He was going to lose that round. He was not winning on anybody's scorecards except maybe his dad's. He was losing that round. Gon did not need to blind him. Gon looked more disappointed than anyone that Aspinall didn't sack up and come in there with one eye like Bisping or some shit.
I feel like you don't know. Like, okay, first of all, does he still win that round if he doesn't have the eye poke threat there? I don't know. And then here's the thing. I watched Joe Lozon fight Anthony Pettis. If you don't know that fight very well off the top of your head, look back on it. The fight was about 90 seconds long. Joe Lozon won like the first 85 seconds of it. You can have a hard time finding him like Pettis looking good for more than 5 seconds in a row until the part where he knocked him out. And
how did he do that?
I'm sorry.
How did he knock him out exactly? Was
Eye
it
poke.
like some like it wasn't anything incredible, was it? Didn't he run along the cage and kick him in the head or something?
No.
Brazilian
That was
scrotum tear.
that was a
You're right.
WC
That's
fight.
a
I
different
think.
guy.
No, he
Yeah,
had
but this is the Lozon fight. He kicked him in the head, and it's right before he kicks him in the head. His coach Steve is like, "Hands up!" Pop. I was like, "Ah, good call." But the thing is, if you don't know anything about fighting, like perhaps me, you think, "Oh, Joe won all of it until one thing went wrong." The fight experts are like, no. He was measuring, he was watching, he was baiting, he was feinting, he was seeing how he reacted, he was learning, and then he executed his plan. So back to the Aspinall Gagne fight, we don't know how that was gonna go if there were no eye pokes, if they did let it
I got a
finish.
good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did stop he did stop the takedown with an eye poke though at one point. Like Aspinall went for the hips and he went straight into his eyes. That was earlier on. So that's something. But I agree with FPS Russia over here. I agree with his Pepsi Max as well, man.
Oh yeah,
It's a great
no,
thing
this
off
is
Pepsi
zero.
Max.
It doesn't have the caffeine
Oh,
of Pepsi
okay.
Max, unfortunately.
Well, there you go.
But it's a
We're
better
different
sweetener.
anyway.
It doesn't give me cancer, I'm told.
But there you go.
Yeah,
But I agree that Gagne was ahead of the round. Let's just say.
I think he was ahead on striking 30-27, maybe.
Yeah, and there's a visible damage rule where if you could do something that makes it look like you've caused damage, he made Tom have a nosebleed. So that's
he did.
He didn't break his nose, I don't think, but he busted his nose to a nosebleed. So that's like if it's close anyway, it's going to go to the guy who's caused blood to be drawn. You know?
Yep. Yeah, I thought Gon was winning.
I refuse to believe that the fighter I like more wasn't winning. So there.
I mean, we were bummed out.
How
Like,
it works.
we were all. I was watching that fight with like a group of maybe 15 guys, and everybody was. It's like, all right, well, it hasn't been a great card. There was that one knockout earlier, and then there was a couple of girl fights, and this is gonna like pay off though. This is the fight of the night, and then that happened, and we were so bummed. Everybody in that call hates Gon now. like he lost. If he had, I bet he lost fans. For sure.
He gained fans. This is the crazy thing. He gained fans. There's like a fan base that like it's basically there's these like figures that retire or like leave the sport. Jones is one of them. Habib's one of them. They'll just jump on. There's a guy, Arman Sarukian at lightweight, and Makhachev has his fans. But now they know Makhachev's left lightweight. Arman's like their neighboring countries from Armenia, Makhachev's from Dagestan, Caucasus region. So they just all hopped on to the Arman train, like, oh, this is our guy now. And then it's the same with John Jones fans that are now going to be like, what an eye poke. If, let's go to Cyril Gahn next. That's our next guy to support. So he's gained fans.
Of course, and that was an important fight. Gon Aspinall is important in relation to Jones because Jones smoked Gon and is one of his two heavyweight fights. If you count fucking Stipe, he smoked him, and it was a cinematic moment when he's walking away saying shh, and Gon looks scared over his shoulder, sitting there, either scared or shocked that he's been finished that fast. And I was shocked watching it. It didn't look like that choke was that deep, but it was choking the fuck out. So I said pre-fight, I was like, look, Jones smoked this guy, blew him out of the water. If Aspinall struggles here, Jones is going to crow until the end of the world. And if, God forbid, Gon beats Aspinall, Jones is going to be vindicated. He's going to say, see, it's exactly, he'll quote his own tweet from 8 months ago. He's just the guy now. I'm the guy forever. I'm the guy who walked through 4 different generations of UFC. I'm the youngest, I'm the longest defending lightweight, heavyweight champion. Everyone who's come before me has fallen. He's just a flash in the pan. So
Aspinall's weakness is eye pokes.
That's true.
Well, then I don't know how he's going to get through. If he can't get through Gon's eye pokes, how he's going to get through the fucking eye poke master?
I mean, him or Chuck Liddell are the eye poking legends of the sport, I guess.
Fucking shimp. That doesn't even compare to John Jones. Okay, like John Jones.
Just go like this.
Yeah.
Throw the fucking.
When Reyes fought Jones, he was actually punching his fingers. Like when Jones was out stretching his fingers, Reyes was like hammer fisting his fingers to try and
he won that fight ish.
And he won that. That's how he kind of dealt with it. Like genuinely, like I'm gonna have to deal with eye pokes. This is what I've come up with to deal with them. Yep. And I guess that just goes to show.
You think palm strikes to the fingers would get it done? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you should be able to do manipulation. No, go on.
What?
Go on,
oh, no, I was saying I thought palm strikes were like an ultimate form of fighting because of some book. Kyle, was it Hatchet?
Yeah.
where he talked about like his defense training being palm strikes. It was a book that we had to read in like middle school about some kid living in the woods for months, and he was like, I would never do a closed fist, I would do a palm strike because you can deliver more force.
Kyle, you're muted. That's funny.
Number one. Number two, pizza pie in my eye. Oh my. Just like